Good morning, Rajat. Thank you for joining in today's feedback session. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, sir. What about you, sir?
I'm also doing great. Thank you for asking that in yourself, if you have figured it out. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Have any follow-up questions over here, or should we start with technicals?
No, I don't have any questions. You can start.
Okay. Thank you, Govind. So, Rajat, we are done with the HR questions. So, if you want, you can have a glass of water till the time we start with the technical round.
Yes, sure, sir.
So, here what happened? You went to have a glass of water. That we should
Yes.
not do. Okay. If you have to keep a bottle, keep it beside the laptop. Drink it over there. Do not go and walk away from the interview. Okay, that is not a that is not the best etiquette. Okay, you can
Yes,
have.
yes.
No one is going to tell you about that, but do keep a water bottle in front of you so that if such kind of scenarios happen, you can quickly drink. Might be in between you are coughing. It sometimes might happen that due to bad health you start coughing. So at that time you will walk away and drink water. No, we will keep everything beside us so that if situation demands, then at that time. And during such kind of things, uh, yes, it's better if we try not to drink because it's not a long interview, 1 hour. But if you're feeling nervous, then you can definitely sip because the interview has given you the permission. So always say thank you and then sip, and then you can start. Okay, but do not walk away from the laptop. At that time, we all three were thinking, "Arey, kidhar gaya wo?" So
Yes,
that
yes,
should not
got it.
happen. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. May I go now, sir?
Yeah, sure, sure. If you want, you can have
Thank
a
you.
glass of water.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, Rajat, we are going to start with the technical round right now. So, my
Yes, sir.
first question will be what is software testing?
So software testing is a process of the development process. The main objective of the software testing is to identify or detect the bugs from the software. And also there is another objective, that is to deliver the quality product to the customer. So this is all.
So it was appropriate to the answer. It's the first that you find the defects, as well as you deliver the best software to the customers. But in that also we check what we check about the completeness. That the software should be complete. It should be correct, and the quality. So when we say about software testing, first in your mind should come about the quality of the product, which will be useful for when we identify the bugs. We ensure that quality with respect to bugs. And then after all, we set about the it should meet the customer requirements as well. So quality was an important keyword which should be here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, as you mentioned that the responsibility of a software tester is to find the defect and a bug. So, is there any difference between a defect and a bug?
Both are same somehow. Only little difference is that a defect is loss of some features, or there are some less properties.
Okay. So here it was when you thought a bit, which means that you are not aware of the questions and you try to just say something of things. But when you said that they're a bit similar, that is the correct answer. That it was a bit
Yes.
similar, but just terminologies and testings are different. So when you say a defect, A defect is nothing but a mistake in a code that has been found by a tester is called as a defect.
Yes.
Okay. An error. Error is nothing but a mistake in a code. It's called as an error.
We can also say human mistake.
Yeah, we can say a human mistake or a mistake that is present in the code. That is nothing but an error. Where it has been found by a tester, it's called as a defect. When the same thing has been found by end users or a clients, it is called as a bug. When they raise it, it is called as a bug, which is missed by our dev and a QA team. Okay, so it's called as a bug. And a failure is like what you said correctly, where something is missing, where your application is not working, or what the customers were accepting some kind of a feature that is only not been able to deliver. That is nothing but a failure. Suppose your link is not working. So that is a failure of a software. Okay, so this will be a common term which will be asked. What is the difference between error, bug, defect, and a failure? So you should, yeah.
Like the way you are saying that it's a human mistake, and after that you are giving the example. So is it a good way to say the answer?
Yes, yes. You should, whenever you have a question, whenever they ask you a question, if you are able to, if even we see, when we say that when you're fresher, they will accept some kind of definitions from you. But if you are giving them more examples, it shows that you have a depth knowledge about the product as well, or of the concepts as well. Okay.
Right.
Because when you get an experience, they won't expect that you say a definition. They will expect you to, tell them as per the examples that you have worked on. So if you tell that as well, they will come to know that you have a depth knowledge as well. It's not just you have just by-hearted or just mug up the things.
Which is completely not mentioned. And bug is like
So how these two are different from an error? So what should be the difference between a defect, bug, and error?
So see, he came to know that you have you're not able to recollect or give a proper explanation. So they will tackle you over there only, or they will ask you those kind of questions only where they know that you will get more nervous. Because in the real kind of software, in real kind of industries, you will be very much in the pressure. So how do you react in the pressure? They will try to check those things. Okay, so when you get nervous, what kind of answers you give? Or you just bluff the thing, or you try to analyze, or you try to speak something, or you just simply say that, no, I'm not aware of it. Okay, so let's just want to test that in the pressure situations, how do you work? So that was the main objective to ask you about more about this kind of things.
Got it.
Define what is use case testing.
Use case. So in use case testing, we
So if you are not aware of the things, don't think much. Okay, just say simply that, sir, I'm not aware of it. Okay. So because you were just thinking and you were expecting that the interviewer will say that, okay, if you're not aware, okay, we'll go forward. It's better that you only say that, sir, I'm not aware of these things. Let's move forward. Okay. Use case testing is what? You might have, in the project when you were in college or something, you might have developed some use cases. So there is an actor and there are some functionalities that we test, right? So what we test in that? We just test that the main functionality or the basic functionality, that what are the actors doing or what the users will be, will be doing with the system. So we just check that the basic functionality is working as per the user's expectations or not. That is a main use case testing. Okay.
Okay. So I guess you have heard about STLC and SDLC, right? Software testing lifecycle and the development lifecycle. What is the difference between these two?
Sir, software development lifecycle talks about the software development, Whereas STLC, that is a part of SDLC, and it talks about the software testing, completely testing.
So here you gave a very good examples and you were able to explain in depth also. I saw your the things also. You were able to explain or deliver whatever was expected. Because when you say at the first line only, it shows that you have a very good confidence and you are aware of the system. You are aware of the terms, that is what is SDLC and what is STLC. As you were having a lot of confidence and that was able to showcase with your answers as well. So this question was answered very well.
Thank you. So this is the main key difference as well. To explain it further,
If you want, you can, but if you are done, it's fine.
So, never ask an interviewer that you want more explanation about.
Okay.
Okay, it shows you were asking with a polite thing also, but it shows a rude that do you want to listen? I have more to showcase you. Okay, but you were not willing to, or you were not, you didn't had that question in your mind that I am ruding or I am just giving this answer. You were very polite, but it seems like that for some interviews. So you should never ask. If you have done, just take a pause and say, I'm done. Okay, so if you have any more questions, you can ask. Or if you want to explain also, keep on explaining the things. Okay, but when they are asking about difference, so always give a difference. As you said, SDLC, STLC, the first point, then second point. Don't give in answers in the paragraph. The interviewer will not like paragraphs after paragraphs.
yes.
Okay, and always give try to give a focal answers only, like the point to answers. Just don't give keep on rotating him in cycles, because he is aware of the concepts. So just don't rotate him. Just give him the key points only, so that he will be impressed with your answers.
So in SDLC, there are few main key points. That is, first we need to do the requirement analysis. Then we design the.
So when you talk about requirement analysis, so in SDLC also and in STLC also we do a requirement phase.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, but in here, when it comes to the software development lifecycle, the requirements are being to analyze from the customer perspective. Okay. But when we are doing in STLC, over there we mainly do about what are the testable requirements. Suppose, for example, a Flipkart application. Okay. So when you are doing a checkout operation in the Flipkart application, you will be entering your bank details, you will be doing a proper checkout. But what is testable is like from the Flipkart application, we will throw a message that your payment was done and your order is successful. But we will not gonna go and verify that your bank is sending you a statement on that your amount has been cut correctly, because that is not our point of view. We are not going to go and test in the bank software that the money's amount or the amount what has been deducted has been shown to the customer or not. R is like when we got a payment, we will just notify our customers that we received your payment and your order is successful. If we don't receive a payment, we will just say that the order is not successful.
Yes.
So that is the difference. Here we do a testable requirements and here we do a classified requirements. The total requirements are being classified and taken in consideration in SDLC. But in SDLC, we finalize only those requirements which can be testable or which we will be testing.
Yes.
Okay.
Complete document, FRS document, that is specification, which is in the cycle, and in testing STLC, the first step, that is requirement analysis, is same, but here we are mainly focuses on the testing. So the second one comes is test planning, then test designing, then test execution. And if a developer if a tester finds any bugs or defect in the software, then it reports to the developer. This is all about the STLC.
Rajat, over this question, I would like to ask one question. Can we start SDLC and STLC simultaneously?
SDLC and STLC. Sir, SDLC process is till coding we can do simultaneously. Like
So here he just asked a simple question that can we do or not? Okay, yes or no? If you say yes, tell him only that much answer. Yes, so we can do simultaneously. Let him, the next question, what he will ask you, how?
yes, sir.
So try to ride on a horse. That you should expect what would be his next question, so that you are aware and you will show him more confidence. Okay. See, whenever the interview is going on, some or the other person is going to write down, either you or the interview. So you should be aware that you will be writing maximum time. Okay, so that what happens is when you are writing, you know that what will be the next question, and you can give or you can showcase your more skills. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Further, I'll just ask you about the same. You said
Sir.
that in SDLC and STLC, there's a requirement.
Sir, like you said that that interviewer will ask the question how. So
Yeah.
the question which Amol sir asked is that correct? The answer which I gave.
Yes. Yes. So
Till
we
coding.
can do we can do simultaneously. That when the requirements or the design phase is working on, or after the design phase, once it is like in the coding phase or something, we also can do like we also do requirement what is like testable requirements. We do with the test plan. When the design phase is working, as simultaneously work on with our test plan. That what would be scope of a test plan, what would be the strategies that we will be using, what kind of code we means, what kind of strategies, what testers will be involved, which tools will be involved, what kind of environments we need to prepare. These all things comes under our test plan. So we design our test plans. We start with our test cases. We start with our test scripts. So simultaneously, when our coding is done, simultaneously we work on our test design, test cases, test scripts. If at all we are using automation, we do with our test scripts. So yes, we can do simultaneously. And once the coding phase has been done, then we directly move to our execution phase.
Got it.
Phase. So you mean to say that we are doing requirements again in the SDLC, or how it is different between? So see, this question was asked why, because you said in when you were explaining the SDLC and STLC, the requirement phases are same, and then now here you said that no, they are different. Okay, so if you hear your answer over here.
Actually, sir, I want to say at that time. Sorry, sir, can you please repeat it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so
Yes, at that time I was saying that the point requirement analysis, that is same, not the process. And
yes,
I am
yes.
unable to express it. The thing is that.
Yeah. So that's what. So that you have to express it at that time only, because the interviewer will think that you don't know the process. So he will ask you the next question about that one.
Yes.
Okay. There should not be. Yeah, I'm saying that you should ride on the horse, but not in the negative direction. Okay. You should ask. You should make him ask the next question for your choice only, but not giving the wrong answer, and then he will ask you the next question about that thing. Okay. You mean to say the process are different? You should mention it there itself. In SD, so we do a requirement phase, but there we take a total requirements from the customer itself, and here we do it only the testable requirement, which we can test it. We can give an example as well.
Okay.
We say in SDLC there's a requirement phase. So how these two requirements are different from each other, or are they same?
No, sir, they are not same. In the functional, that is in SDLC, the document that is FRS document. So it consists of everything, like complete documentation on the project, from where to start, what environments we needed, on where we install the software, and all the UI part, everything is there in the FRS document. But in the STLC, that is requirement analysis, this consists how the project should be tested. What are the test plans, how to execute them, and what are the scenarios and the.
So here you were telling about the whole SDLC process, right? Where we actually test our test cases, where we will be using for our testing purpose, what would be our, if you find any defects, then whom should we log on to? That is not in our requirement document, right? It is in our test plan actually. Whom should be our first point of contact and all. So you were just some kind of, you were mixing some, at the start you were very much confident, but later on you were just mixing some kind of things. So that should not be a case. Requirements in testing, it's only for test, only we will be throwing, or we will be documenting only the requirements that can be testable. That's it.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Test cases, that is complete.
What is validation and verification?
Okay. First, verification. It is a process through which we check whether we are building the right product. So it mainly focus on the documentation part. It also consists of the static testing, where we verify whether the documentation which done by team lead is correct or not. And this is a verification part. In validation part, validation it is done after the verification, and it mainly focuses on the software, and along with that validation, it is a process in which we are checking that we are building product right. And there are 4 types of testing which include in the validation, that is unit testing, integration.
So Rajat, you were able to give a very appropriate answer over there. That is right product and product right. So you were not confused with the concepts over that. That what we need to say. So that was a very well said. Just one thing was there. It's not, we don't, in validation, that is not types of testing. There are levels of testing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? Unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance
That
testing.
is a level.
Yeah. So there are levels. And when you're saying about verification, try to say about, just give, there are, in verification, we do a review and a walkthrough.
Review, walkthrough, and inspection.
Yes. So when you say this, the next question of the interview will like say then what is walkthrough, review, and
inspection.
Inspection. So immediately you will come to know that, oh, this is like. So then what you are riding on the, that you know about the concepts, and if they ask you the same, you will be able to give them the same answer. Okay.
Got it.
Testing, and then system testing and user acceptance test.
Can you explain me integration testing in depth? So here also in the integration testing, you were able to say about the 2 types, that is incremental, non-incremental, and then you were able to bifurcate those things.
Yes, sir.
But when it came to top down and bottom up, I think you were a bit confused about the when to use the driver, when to use the stub.
Yes, sir. I'm confused with the edit module. Like, it is a parent or a child. Yeah. So when it is like top means what? Your top modules are ready and you're working on your bottom modules. So it means your parent is ready, but your child models are not ready. Yes. When it is top to down. When it is bottom to up, it is totally opposite. Your bottom models are ready, but your top modules are not ready. So your child are ready, but your parent is not ready. Yes. Right. And I'll give you to how to remember also. T. So top. What comes before T in ABCD is S. So whenever you say top down, always say that you are using stub as a dummy model. When it is bottom, what comes after B is D, so drivers. So you will never get confused when to use driver, when to use stub. When you say bottom up, driver. Top down, stub. So it will be very much simple. And in sandwich, we are using both because our middle modules are ready. It's not even top, it's not even bottom.
So we can work simultaneously on the both the things. Like we move from, say, our bottom. So whoever is parent, we can go there, as well as we can work down who are more childs or the sub childs. There also we can do a test. So it's actually kind of any model which has been developed. Okay, so we can use both. This top down as well as bottom. So that is fine. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
Modules, and the second approach we use is between combination of top-down approach and testing. That is, this will check single module and functionality of the application. So this is
what is a deferred defect?
Deferred. A deferred defect means the defect which have less priority. That means
So it is not less priority or something. It is like we will not be able to. It was not in a scope. We will not be able to fix in this release. We will fix in the next release. So we mark that defect as a deferred. Deferred means it has not been cancelled yet. In next release, we'll be fixing it, and then again we will be testing and mark it as closed. But right now we will not be able to fix it, so we just mark it as a deferred defect. We will fix in the next release.
Yes, sir. I mentioned that one.
Yeah, later on you just mentioned.
After that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
means we can fix this defect in later 2-3 bits.
So never use a concept, or whenever you say builds, use a word cycle.
Cycle.
Yeah, because in the same cycle, there can be n number of builds. Say you are a developer, Amon is a developer, I am a developer. When I do a checking, that can also be called as a build. Right. In some softwares, when you go to the agile terminology, they will call it as a small build zone.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it will fix in the next build only. It is in the next cycle that whenever this whole product is ready with the small builds, the whole will be combined and given to the customers.
Okay.
Okay, so use a word called as cycle in the next cycle. And when they ask you what is a cycle, you just say that whenever we are delivering our product to our customers, it may be in agile, it may be of 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. According to that, once it has been delivered, when we start with our new requirements, at that time we will be fixing this. Okay.
Default.
What do you mean by builds?
Builds, developers are making an executable files which are directly sent to the tester. So they will verify the main functionality of the application.
See, here you correctly said that there is a build. But when you mark it as a deferred, it is not in the build, right?
Right.
Because you are giving to the testers only for the build. Right, those are builds. But when we are saying a deferred defect, it is for the next cycle.
Next cycle.
It will not be fixed in the next build itself. Okay. So your concepts are correct. Just terminologies are something different. Okay.
Yes.
So just work on that.
They are not sending their codes directly to the developer. They are making that builds an executable file to the testers. That is build.
To ask one question. So tell
Yes,
me, what is the difference between web application and desktop application in the scenario of testing?
Web application and desktop application.
Yes.
So it was about the like tire. In desktop application we use only one tire, and in web application we have three tire architecture. 3-tire architecture means what? Your request is sent to the server. Server goes and fetches, asks for the database. It fetches it and it gives you response back. There's a three-tire architecture. But when it comes to our desktop application, it's directly it doesn't communicate with the server. It directly communicates with our OS. right? So a desktop application is nothing but an Excel. Whenever you write something and you save it, it directly goes and hits the server or hits your RAM or ROM, right?
Yes.
That is a difference between a desktop and a web application. And he was asking you the scenarios that, say, in desktop application, what would you test? What kind of testings would you do? And what kinds of testings you will be doing in case of web applications. So a web application, it is to the server. So we are more concerned about our security,
Right.
right? Performance. Because n number of users will be hitting you at the same time. Say Flipkart application. So n number of people hit at the same time. But when it comes to our Excel, hardly one or two will be working you will be simultaneously switching between it. Like you are the one. Desktop application means what? Your Excel, your Word document. So you will be the only user who will be just switching between two windows, say example.
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't have that much of performance thing or something. But when it considers your web application, it's more about your performance. Usability testing. How user friendly is your software? So those was your Amol was expecting this kind of answers from your side. Okay.
So, sir, web application is
See your confidence.
sir, web application like mobile applications which we can use in the mobile, or applications which we can use in PC.
Yeah, web applications that can be accessed through internet, website,
Yes,
applications.
yes.
So see, you are not aware, so you are giving the chance to the other person that you are not conceptually that strong with your desktop and web application.
Yes, sir. Local.
Right? Yeah, a web application is nothing but which runs to the internet. Anything you enter in a browser, it may be an application, it may be not your application. So whatever you're searching also in the Google, you are not searching always with the application perspective. Right? Application means what? Your Zoom application, your WhatsApp application. That may run on your mobile application as well as through web. So whenever you're doing always web application, it doesn't mean that you're always checking with your application only or the application only. It may be a product as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So you
That
are asking for the difference.
yeah, difference with respect of testing scenarios.
So
Suppose if I provide you a web application.
what he is trying to ask you, what kind of different testings you will be doing with respect to desktop application and what kind of testings you will be doing in case of web application.
Yes, sir.
What you will be morely focusing on. In desktop application, what you will be focusing on, and one web application, what you will be focusing on.
Right, sir. I got stuck with the question. Like I don't understand completely what is the question.
Yes, yes.
And also desktop, you can mention 2 to 3 main 2 to 3 differences.
First one, sir, we'll check the main functionality. Like in the desktop application as well as the web application, there must be a login system through which we can access the database or anything. So the main functionality of the application is to check the login functionality. And
So you got now, right? What he was expecting, and you were saying him the similarities, what he will be doing, but he actually wanted a difference.
yes. Or UI that
With respect of security,
sir, security means like there is a password security. So we can check that whenever a user will change a password. So is it showing the old password, to enter the old password. If it's not showing, so it must be a.
Okay, nice. Last question from my side. Tell me what is gray box? I mean, what's here? So, see, Rajat, actually,
I'm doing
the reason behind I ask you about
Okay.
security because whenever there is a web, if we call like suppose web application, then there always be a security means there can be a chances of attack, right? So I was expecting like you should answer with security means there should be a security for means we are going to test different kinds of attacks or security for web, but for desktop we will not because for desktop there will be only one means single person will be using that, right? Got it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So since we are done with all the technical questions as well, so the final question that I would like to ask that Rajat, you might, as you mentioned, you are very goal oriented as well. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years of time?
Sir, in next 5 years, I want to manage the QA team.
So you want to be a position of a lead or a project manager, right?
Yes. For that, I need to develop my team leading skills and mostly the communication skills.
Absolutely, you will surely develop it as well. And suppose in case you are not selected in today's interview, what will be your approach for instance?
He was asking about next 5 years. Okay, so never say anything about negative that I want to increase my communication skills. It's like at that moment you are actually experienced 5 years. So once you're done with that, where do you think you will be at that position? So it's like at that moment after 5 years, where you will stand. So you
So,
said firstly very correctly that you will be standing, you will be seeing yourself as a team lead or something, and you will have those skills also in you. So you are saying right that you will be in the lead position. So you will have the communication skills as you will be having all your leading skills as well, right? That first thing.
Towards your next interview or all?
the questions which asked by all sirs. So first, I'll make a notes whatever the questions is asked and what the answer is which I put, and I'll ask my friend that
Yeah, so we discussed this last time also that you should
yes,
never say that you will be discussing with your friends. You just say that I'll just Google it and I'll update myself with whatever wherever I am lagging right now. So I'll just go forward with correcting myself. That's it.
right.
Correct. And also, if you see that in the last part, your construction of sentences became very poor. Means you are not able to frame the sentences properly. So just revisit once and see that what mistakes you had been doing. But yes, as Govind mentioned, that do not say that I'll ask my friends or trainers on anything. You will do the research on your own and get your mistakes correct. Okay.
Right.
So yes. So I guess this was the last question, right?
Yes, sir.
So yes. So you can stop sharing the screen, Govind, if you want. Right. So having said that, I guess you are right now aware that what mistakes you had done, right?
Yes,
And are you right now feeling confident that yes, I know all the answers what are required to be told during the time of interview? Okay, great. And at the end, also, I guess I asked one question that do you have any question for any one of us? You said no, I guess, right?
yes, sir. That one I want to ask that what should I
Right,
ask?
right. So you should never say no when the interviewer is himself asking that do you want to ask any question. You should always ask about their journey within the company. You should ask them. So it's a kind of a small rapport building. So you should ask that since you are working in this company, it's such a reputed organization. Since how many years you are working in this company? If you can share how was your journey within the company. So it means you are leaving at the end. You are also trying to build a connection with the interviewer. So the interviewer will tell you that yes, it's been 5 years or 6 years or 10 years that I'm working here, and initially I also had my hiccups and then I got to know. So he will explain you the things nicely, so you will feel good at the end. So never end your interview with a no. Okay, it's a negative way to end your interview. If if you see that yes, there is a situation where I can build up a small rapport, then please go for that, because the interviewer likes it. The interviewer will give some opportunities somewhere that build a rapport, build a rapport, build a rapport. You need to grab that opportunity. Okay, do not lose it. Otherwise, there are few interviewers who are very strict with all these things, minute things which you might not understand, but that might be the point of rejection. So yes, but with that interview, I'll say that we would have hired you. Okay, even if you were not that great in technicals, but since you were confident enough, and as a fresher, definitely you will be getting some training from us. So I would have hired you. So it was good as a first interview. But for your upcoming interviews, we are going to drill down a lot. We are going to ask about automations and everything, various scenario-based questions. So there will always be a surprise element in every interview. So just prepare accordingly and make up your mind in that manner. Okay.
Yes. So there are a lot of questions like I never heard about it. These questions where I got stuck, and lastly, when I was learning that development, Python and Django, at that time when I was giving the interviews, I know that the question which was asked from the interviewer, that is uh, which I have to reply back, and I know that I was correct every time. And after a few days, I got to know that I was rejected, and I never know that what are my mistakes, and I always feel confident that I'm right, my all answers are right. And what was the mistake? Today I got to know all about that, where
Right.
I was making mistakes.
Right. It is very important to see yourself during the time of interview, and we do not get the chance, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
give the interview, we come home, we find that okay, मैंने तो सब अच्छे से दिया. But when we see that अरे मैं ऐसे बिहेव कर रहा था क्या, कैसा लग रहा हूँ मैं, तब समझ
हाँ
में
सर.
आता है कि exactly कहाँ पे mistake हुआ. But anyways, it was good, but it can be better, and you will be doing good. So we have that confidence in you. So just follow the track that you are following. Govind sir is always there to support you, and try to get the best out of him. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Having said that, we'll meet in the next interview very soon. Thank you very much for joining in.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajat. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Rajat. Bye bye.